Hi.
What's up? Back again, try to figure some stuff out. We got the new road. That was the
Mhm.
thing the other day with Carl. We got the
Mhm.
new road, and so we figured it all out. It's the amount of buttons is crazy.
Mhm.
Like, and
It's
now
fancy.
it's so fancy. And now we have a kind of like we can control the volume of the guest, and there's a bunch of things in here that we didn't.
How before?
Yeah. So it's been super fun. So I guess we're just trying to test it out now and see what
Yeah.
happens with the phone line. So whoever wants a link, DM us, let us know.
Yep.
Want a link. Um
Or just call and see if it
yeah,
works.
call the phone line, see if the phone line works.
Mhm.
Do whatever you want. But we need an email. Or if I don't already have your email, send me your email. I'll
Mhm.
send you a link.
Yep.
See what happens.
Yep.
But otherwise, what's up? What do we see? What do
Oh
we
my gosh.
do?
Well, we might as well recap where we've
Whirlwind.
been, what we've been doing. Carl the other day, again, thanks to him, thanks to the chat, y'all were troopers to just get us through that and
Yeah,
trying to
appreciate
figure it
that.
out. So he was super cool to talk to. Learned a lot, still have so many more questions and looking forward to having him on again. But was very cool to meet him and then his assistant too. Really
Yeah,
cool to have that conversation with them.
I was super sad that we didn't get into everything that we wanted to just because that dude was so cool.
Mhm.
He's such an awesome. Oh, Kenneth, hey, what's up?
Hi.
Recap, get it all out, detox show. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
it kind of is a little bit.
I think we're starting to realize that our recap shows kind of are that where we just kind of see like what comes up, what we learned, reminisce about how cool it was, and give ourselves a chance to just chill and connect with you guys and see, get your feedback, get your insight, see what you liked, what you didn't like, and everything like that. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I'll send Judy a link if Judy wants
Yeah.
to. DM me your
Email.
wherever you want me to send the link, and I'll
Yeah.
send it.
Yeah.
Um,
So Carl was really cool.
yeah, it was. So what happened was like our original Roadcaster, we had a Roadcaster from like a year and a half ago, and so kind of the jacks for the headphones messed up, and we only had two. So we are like, hey, let's get a new one so that we can make sure that we have a backup and also like we have all the jacks we can, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
And so we got a new Roadcaster, and he was not the dude I wanted to screw up. Like he really wasn't.
Yeah.
I really wanted that podcast to be what, you know, so it messed with me a little bit, but
But we got it done, and you know what? It's like we talked about afterwards, after everything happened, we still showed up, we still got through it, and even if it was something where we couldn't figure it out and we had to cut the show short, like, he was understanding, the chat was understanding that sometimes that just happens. I think back to the time when we had Souza on and we were having such a good conversation and we probably could talk even longer, but then a thunderstorm started to happen.
yeah.
And the minute that the lights flickered, I was like, nope, we
Oh.
got to cut this off right now because if we lose this, we would have been sad that we lost that. So we adapt, we keep it moving and we keep going. And it was just, yeah. And Judy, like you guys were so,
We appreciate you so much.
Judy
Yeah.
Reed, he was so funny reading the chat, answering questions like a pro. Yeah, exactly. Um, and we're just grateful that you guys supported us in that while we were trying to figure it out, and then we did, and it was a great show, amidst the chaos in the
Yeah.
beginning.
So we're really happy. We have the new Roadcaster, and then also we have the new Colleen has a new computer, so she's also trying to navigate the what Augustus Link. What's up, bro? I want a link, but I can't join. Sorry, at a restaurant. Oh, that
Oh,
damn.
next time.
All right,
Next time.
fine. Um, But
Yes,
yeah,
my wife gifted me with a new computer. She had her Oh, here he is. HDR, CBD Athletics. It's fine. It's all good. Next one will be better. We should do a live from Mountain West Fitness Championship in Idaho, end of August. Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll have a great time.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
So yeah. Oh, good. He said it was fine, so it's fine. um, but yeah, I mean, it was cool, and also too, I'm so grateful that we're able to get new equipment. I'm so grateful that we're able to, you know, do so many more things than we were before. Because
Mhm.
when we started, we didn't start with this, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
it wasn't. We didn't have this. So
We've come a long way.
yeah, very cool.
We've worked hard. Yeah.
Hopefully we can get all the bugs out before everything that's important happens. But uh
Yeah.
whatever. Kenneth, dude, let me send you a link. what
I know.
what's
If
happening?
you're hanging out, would love
Or just call.
you said I've been rewatching the latest John Young today.
Yeah, what happened with that?
Yeah,
Where
like this one.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kenneth
What's your thoughts? We
yeah.
would love to talk to you about your thoughts. Sure.
um but yeah, so I guess what's been happening lately is we haven't gotten to get in we haven't been able to get into this, but the Olympics, girl, opening ceremonies, want to get into that?
Yeah. I mean, I've only seen a little bit of it. I've seen people that have shared where the Olympics opening ceremonies were from years ago versus now. And I will admit, I haven't seen the whole thing. So this is very much just on a little bit of clips here and there and, you know, um, whatever. But from what I've heard, it was very interesting of an open ceremony to the Olympics.
I I didn't see it in its entirety. I just saw what was online.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll wait till I actually see it.
Yeah.
But don't think it was a good look if that's what, you know, I don't know. Again, I don't feel the need for kids to be involved in stuff like that. I don't feel the need for uh you know, I sent the link if that's what you're
Oh,
doing.
that's what I was doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I sent it.
Okay.
Um but I don't see the need for that. It is what it is. Eh. I'm still gonna watch the Olympics. Like
Yeah.
I still want to see all the amazing things that happen when the athletes get on the field, and that's the thing that's so annoying is use the uh, why use the Olympics for political things? Like just
But I feel like it's everything. I feel like it's everything and anything. And you hear the conversation of, athletes and celebrities and Hollywood and, feeling like that they have I don't know, expectation, pressure, responsibility to say things and to stand up for things and to make their voices heard and give, people that don't have voices like voices. And so I
yeah,
think
there was something crazy that came out during a athlete, a basketball player that came out, a professional male basketball player that started talking about being in the bubble for the 2020 or the 2020 what was it? The NBA finals, and he
mhm,
was just like he was the one dude that didn't kneel for the national anthem. He was the one dude that didn't put on the BLM shirt for the national anthem, and he was just like, everybody said we're supposed to do this. Like uh, you know, teams were united with that, and
mhm.
the NBA was united with that, and they just didn't. He was like, I don't want to do this,
Right.
and he didn't do it. And like, oh, here he is, Kenneth. Here you are.
Yeah, you got this at this one.
What's up? I'm
Hey.
here. Thanks.
What's up, dude?
Not much. How you guys doing?
Good.
Oh, good. Thank
Where are
you.
you at? At a field or something?
I'm just in my backyard.
Oh, nice.
House is full of kids. It's birthday party. We got back from pizza. Now they're all
Oh
just
no.
chilling, watching
Needed a
movies and
break.
stuff.
Needed a break. Get outside. Get some fresh air.
Yeah, just a little bit. They're doing
Yeah.
good though.
Good. Good.
Yeah, Sean, that's Kenneth.
Yes, that
Me.
is.
Sean Lenderman.
Yep.
That's Kenneth. Yes, it
That
is.
is. That is.
Oh, dude, thank you so much. Yeah,
I tried getting my wife on. She didn't want to come on either. Said she'd
Aw.
just embarrassed. I'm trying to like slowly talk her into it. Once
we
the
would love
guys get
that.
around to like mom stuff or autism mom stuff, I'm trying to like plant those seeds, try and get her on
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, we would love that. I am trying to reach out, as we all know, reaching out to people that don't know you, it's difficult to get responses and stuff like that. But I have started following more autism accounts, and I really would love to have the conversation because you know, what we're experiencing right now is, you know, our son is doing very well and we've gotten all the support that he needs. And so now it's the fight to prove that he still deserves and he needs the services. You know, so now I'm dealing with nobody's answering me. I'm not getting responses. I keep emailing, I keep calling, and they keep saying, you know, we'll get back to you. We need more information. And I get that. They need all the information that they need. But now it's this whole fight of, because he's doing so well, that he now might not need those, but he still deserves them. So that's the fight that we're in right now, which is so frustrating.
It's weird. You would think it would just be like a lifetime thing once you get the diagnosis.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, because his memory is so good. I don't know if
That's like the testing thing.
Well,
it's just their memory.
I mean, because his memory is so good, he's showing that his math skills are great, right? Like he remembers, he'll read a book once, he'll remember it. Does he necessarily comprehend the book? Yeah. No.
Right.
But he remembers it and he knows it. So, you know.
Yeah. So we're experiencing that right now. And, you know, everybody that I talk to, that we tell, you know, he doesn't need speech therapy 3 times a week anymore. He doesn't need it all this time. And then he was in group settings. And so everything is changing in school. And they're like, that's really good. And we're like, yes, that's really good. And also he still deserves to have funding support. He still deserves to have services available to him. Like you said, for a lifetime, you know, they pushed us to get evaluated. We got him evaluated. He's been diagnosed by the state from a professional. And now you're saying that that's not enough anymore. But like you're saying, Kenneth, it's like, it should be, the minute you get that, it should be a lifetime thing. There's no cure. And it's not one day they wake up and he doesn't have it anymore. You know what I mean? Like this is a lifetime thing. So it's just a little frustrating right now, but I want to have these conversations with other families because there is such a spectrum. And so I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but it's almost like if your kid doesn't fall into the certain part of the spectrum of a certain group, it's almost like we're not all a part of the same community. So Garrett met some friends and we would hang out with some friends from our local autism community, and their kids are farther on the spectrum. They need more support. They're less verbal, you know, those kind of things. And everybody was good in the beginning, but then when they could see that our kids are not on the same level of the spectrum, we kind of stopped getting invited. We kind of stopped being a part of the community because Garrett technically, to some people, don't look autistic, which is sad for him, you know?
It's hard for us because I can understand. I see that a lot too from what we've experienced. It's kind of like not quite clicky, but like you can tell some parents are just like, I'm only going to hang out with certain people and blah, blah, blah. But for us, it's always been like, as long as your kids like want to play with our kids, that's great. Like we'll hang out with you as much as we can.
Right.
Depends on how the kids treat each other more than anything. because it's
Yeah.
sometimes it's so hard just to get like kids around his same age to not just constantly be like, well, why does he play different? Why is he not talking as much? Why is he? It's like, well, he's has autism. He's a little different, bud. This is how he's gonna play.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
said something in like you put a comment up in, I don't know if it was our podcast or a different podcast. I feel like it was ours, that you know that he's always going to live with you, right?
Yes.
And I think that's always a conversation that as autism parents we have to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I don't know.
Well, so I'll give like a quick debrief on how he is. We were like pushed early to get a diagnosis. My wife was noticing things more than I was. I was just like, hey, he'll grow out of it, whatever. Let's give him some time. But he got diagnosed at 3 as autism spectrum disorder and nonverbal, low attention span, probably ADHD too, kind of thing.
Yep.
And we got like speech therapy, we had physical therapy, ABA. The best thing he had was probably from like 7 to 9 or so, 7 to 8. He had in-home therapy every day, which was ABA. The therapist would just come to our house for like 6 hours a day, just be there teaching him things, doing whatever. Being in the military, of course, we had to move after like a year or two, so we had to part ways with that therapist. And but the good thing about it being in home was my wife was able to see what she was doing every day, so we could do it at home, if
Mhm.
nothing else. But he's getting better. He's just picking up speech a little bit here and there. A lot of it has to do with having his brother around, just constantly in his face, talking to him.
Mhm.
So he's saying more words. He's still not conversational by any means, but he's not afraid to like come up to me and be like, "Hey, dinosaur, dinosaur, dad, look at this." And it's a short little conversation, but you can tell he's kind of like into it and trying to communicate more. Other than that, eye contacts come a lot longer, long ways. He makes good eye contact now. For somebody on the spectrum, he's very like touchy feely. He's very loving and affectionate, which is
Mhm.
Yep.
good. But other than that, he's still in diapers. He doesn't like using a toilet. It's very sensory overload for him sitting
Yep.
on there for some reason.
Mhm.
I can get him to do number one, and like probably 3 days a week, just randomly, he'll just not tell anybody and just go in the bathroom and do his own thing and wipe and everything. But then he still wants the diaper on. But me and my wife, like we know we're not opposed to it. We're not like know for a fact that he'll always be with us, but we're like planning for that basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we do what we can to get him better, get him therapy, and make him less dependent on us. But we're still like okay with the fact that hey, he might be living with us his whole life, which is no big deal to us. We're good with it.
I
Yeah.
think that's the goal for all of us, is to make them
Yeah.
as self-sufficient as they can, right? Like I want my son to be as self-sufficient as he can be.
Hmm.
But if there are things that I always have to do for him for the rest of his life, then there are things I always have to do for him for the rest of his life, and that's fine.
Yeah. The big struggle too is bedtime. Like he puts up a fight to make me put him to bed as opposed to mom. He wants to be like right next to mom or on it, right on top of her, and that's how he falls asleep. That's how he's comfortable.
Mhm.
And we tried just having him and his brother in there. It didn't work out. He'd get up and come find us, and he just thinks we're gonna leave in the middle of the night, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What is I hear a lot from the autistic community. What is ABA?
I I think it's something behavioral. I tried to like get the therapist to tell me the difference of what it was, but they couldn't really explain it to me
Mhm.
that I remember. It's kind of like a newer. I think it's more kind of mixing like physical therapy with speech therapy. It's kind of more all encompassing. My wife could
Okay.
probably answer it better than I could, but
But when they
I
were
guess
when they were there, was it like daily stuff? They were just working on him. Oh, we lost
Oh,
him.
we lost him.
Yeah, that's a really big thing. I should
I
look
think
that up and see what it is.
map girl Clinton just giving out free links like Oprah and cars. Yeah. Like, absolutely. Just
Yeah.
either DM me or put it in the chat, whatever you want. Like, I'll send you a link. Yep. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Oh yeah, ABA therapy helps children on the autism spectrum by
Jody, what's up? Judy, what's up?
increasing their social abilities like completing tasks, communication, and learning new skills, maintenance control, or implementing behaviors like self-control and self-regulation, teaching them to transfer learned behaviors to. Oh, okay. So it is a behavior support. Oh, applied behavior analysis.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
There
cool.
you go. Yeah, cool.
All right, let's get him back.
There you go.
Press the button. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
But she would bring like it's kind of like a sensory thing more than anything, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Like she would bring like little rocks and Legos and stuff and be like, Jackson, how many are blue? Jackson, how many are red? Can you stack these? And they try to do like the whole emotion chart sometimes
Yep.
too. And it's kind of like basic school more than anything. It looked like just kind of pre-K kind of level stuff.
Yep.
And he would like, he's the type of kid who once he masters something, he doesn't want to do it anymore. So he'd be like, why are you wasting my time? Like I did what you wanted. Now let me go back to doing something else.
Yeah.
Do something that I want to do. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
We just took little G back to get he's doing speech therapy on his own now and like outside of the school.
Mhm.
And so we just took him back for another evaluation or whatever. And he came out and he was so proud of himself and the teacher was so proud of him. And that's all he wanted to say. Like, just tell mommy I got 100%. Like, tell mom I got 100%. That's it. That's all I want to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool. And when they do get something and they're proud of something, like right now, babe, right? It's the shoe tying thing.
That's a struggle. So our son gets very emotional when things are really, really hard. So, for us, the new thing is trying to tie his shoes. So we work on it. And there was the first morning that I did it with him. And I'm talking about sobbing, snot crying, like the worst thing I possibly could do for him is try to help him learn how to tie his shoes. And it's like, but then of course, when he does it with her, there's not the same reaction. And I think that that's also something that we just realize is that each parent, there's going to be a different reaction. There are some things still to this day that our son just gives me a hard time with. Like he just will give me a hard time with it. There are also days where I'm the only parent that he sees, where it's all day, every day, mommy, 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 mommy. And I'm like, I just need 5 minutes, like just 5 minutes. Please do not call my name. And she's in the other room and it's still like beeline to me. So it's really just navigating those days and taking the wins where you can get them, like you said. So like now when it comes to bedtime, he has a harder time with your wife. It's better for you to kind of step in and help and whatever. Like you just kind of navigate what the day brings and you teamwork the best that you can. But yeah, tying shoes is like the worst thing I could have ever
introduced.
Hey, Bernie, what's up? Dumb question here. Is autism more common now than it was decades ago, or is it just more diagnosed?
Hold on. Well, go ahead, Kenneth, if you want to go.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's more diagnosed for sure. Like, because nobody can tell us if it's hereditary or not, because that's a question we always ask. Like, as you start to see like maybe some signs in yourself that you see in your kids, you're like, well, maybe I'm on the spectrum, things like that. And I asked my mom, like, hey, did you ever have concerns about me? She's like, well, I took you to the doctor and they said you weren't autistic because you ate any food you were given. I was like, oh, she just dropped it at there. She's like, yeah, that's all they said was a sign of autism. So, okay. So, and they're trying to say now it's like 1 in 3 every male boy has autism. Like it just keeps getting more and more prevalent. I personally, like, this is just me, Kenneth DeLab's personal opinion. I think it's kind of like getting more normalized, maybe is why we're seeing more cases. Like people aren't afraid to go get tested or get treatment for it for their kids. It's not as taboo or anything like that. And it's like, there's more knowledge about it, so people are more able to see, well, maybe this is something I should go get checked out, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it's really,
when
really
I
big in military families too. We're still trying to figure out why that's a thing. Because every time we're in like a military town and we go to the therapy, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's all military people here." And that's the only real patients we get is military families.
Oh,
But
huh.
interesting.
I I just remember when I was young, it was just more said that they were just awkward. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
they
Like
just
there was no
uh,
swag, there was no whatever. They were just socially more awkward.
they're
But
just
there was
introverted.
no
They're just shy.
yeah,
Yep.
there was no diagnosis of like you're autistic. It was just, I mean, for our son, that's what it would have been. Even though
Yep.
he definitely needed speech. Like our kid needed he there's he needed speech. He wasn't talking at like
Mhm.
4.
Mhm.
So,
That's another thing my mom told me not till I was like in my 30s. She's like, "Oh yeah, you didn't start talking till you're 5." I was like, "Okay,
Mm.
that's good to know."
Yeah.
Like I said,
And I think it depends on who you ask,
that's
that
true.
question, Bernie. So it's not a dumb question. It really depends on who you ask and where you get your information from. Because, Kenneth, if you're asking people like, hey, is this genetic? Is this like just
Mhm.
common or whatever? Your responses have been no. Many things that I have seen are showing that there is a direct
Yeah.
link between genetics and autism. So, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, do I go get tested? You know what I mean? To see if it was. I don't remember ever having any of the challenges that my son has, growing up, and there was never any conversation about that. They are saying um, that it is more prominent in boys. They do say that.
Yeah.
And I just finished reading a book that actually said, or it was the book I read, or it was somebody on Instagram that says they're actually diagnosing kids way too young.
Mhm.
So some diagnoses are as young as like a year or two, and they feel like that might be too young and not giving the opportunity for the kid to just grow a little bit more and really start to see. Because for us, yeah, G wasn't talking, he was signing, and there were there were concerns at each year checkup, but for us it was like, but he is communicating, and we felt like he was really communicating. But we're also his moms. We
Yeah.
understand his lingo. We were able to see what he was doing every single day. And then we look back and we're like, "Oh, no, he really
he
wasn't
wasn't
talking."
talking,
Like
yeah.
he really wasn't talking, and it wasn't
I
until
wanted to defend him immediately,
yeah.
if
Uh-huh.
that makes sense. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to
Yeah.
be like, "No, my kid's signing. He's writing letters. He's
He knew
like
all his
he knew yeah."
numbers, all his letters.
So as a parent, I initially just wanted to be like, "No, my kid's fine. What are you talking
Yep.
about? He doesn't need anything."
Yep.
You
So
know?
Yeah.
I took it personally. I'm like, "No, what are you talking about? He can say 10 words. Like he's good.
Yep.
He's developing." But they're like, "It's got to be at least 50." But then being in the military, like you go through so many doctors. Like next week we get a new doctor and it's a man. He's like, "Ah, it's okay. Let's give it a year or two. Let's see if he
Right.
improves." Like that's the standard, but we don't really know if it needs to be that high, kind of thing.
And I think that that's the
I like
yep.
this map girl. Yeah, I didn't talk
On
until
a
I was
podcast, you
4.
want to come on? Okay.
Oh yeah, do it. Oh,
Is that
wifey
is
said
that the
no.
missus?
Yes.
The
Seeing what
doctor
I'm
told
doing.
my the doctor told my mom she just doesn't have anything to say. Now I won't shut up. That's what I
Fair.
fair.
Girl, we were
Fair.
worried. We were worried once we like really realized that our son wasn't talking. We were worried that he was not going to talk. And when we
Yeah.
say he does not shut up,
He does not shut up.
lovingly, he does not shut up from the minute that he wakes up to the minute that he goes to bed. So we always joke, and when we look at our friends and family, I'm like, we were concerned about this. We were worried that he wasn't going to talk, and he's absolutely talking. And but to go back to what you were saying about, you go to different places. You guys obviously moved around a lot, and you see different doctors. I think that is also the challenging part about navigating as parents, navigating the system for our children, is because every doctor you talk to has a different opinion. Every
Mhm.
therapist that you talk to has a different opinion. It doesn't feel like there's a streamline. And I get every kid is different and doctors practice their own way. Some doctor might be a little bit more hands-on. Another doctor might, have this idea or this therapy that they feel like is better. Maybe it's more speech, maybe it's more OT, maybe it's more this. So I understand that like we don't want to be put into a box. We don't want our kids to be put into a box. But do you feel like it's frustrating because everybody tells you something different?
Yeah, it's totally frustrating because not only with that, there's some doctors that are willing to do more research of things that they don't know about than others. Like we have some doctors who will literally Google something that's a concern of ours in front of us in the office and be like, "Well, I've never heard about that. I'd have to look into it more." And then you
Mhm.
go 2 months later and they still haven't looked into it
Right.
or Googling it again. It's like there was some speech delay we thought he had. And we kept like asking about it for years and years and be like, "Oh, no, 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 he doesn't, he's doing this and blah, blah, blah." But then we moved to another doctor and they're like, "Oh, yeah, he definitely has that." Like they even diagnosed it with him. See, it's in his paperwork here. I was like, "Oh, great. Thanks for telling us." Like,
Yeah,
and
like,
it's
do you
always,
actually read the paperwork that we send you? You want us to all
yeah.
send you all the information. Do you actually I always feel that way too. Like, do you
Mm,
actually read anything about my kid? Do you ever
no.
read anything about me if I go to a new like, do you actually read, like, why we're here? Or
Yeah.
is it just paper shuffling?
It's hard for my wife too because she feels like she gets dismissed by doctors a lot. Like she'll try and bring up things that are concerns of hers, and they're just like, "Well, I'm not seeing a sign of it right this second in this moment in time, so I'm not concerned." And we'll just think about it later and get the test then done there. But she wants the test done right now because she's with him every day. She's
Right.
seen him, been in the environment. But it's the hard thing is like some doctors are more willing, some aren't. We tried naturopaths as opposed to normal doctors. Like they get a different degree or something. They're a different type of medicine, and they kind of are more with what she views, trying more holistic homeopathic methods like
Mhm.
supplementation, food types, food allergies, and seeing how that affects his behaviors and things like that. But then those are hard to find out here in North Carolina. Like you got to
Yep.
drive a couple hours. When we were in Vegas, there was one like right down the road, and when we go to Boise, there's another one. But it's just you got to be a parent for the most part. You got to do all of it yourself. You got because nobody's going to care about your kids more than you do.
Yeah,
For
for
sure.
sure. For sure. Yep. Yep.
Dude, thank you. I
Yep.
appreciate you so much for helping us test everything and dude, you're a guy that's always there for us and I can't even thank you enough for just being there in the chat and helping us out. So,
No worries. I'm just a dude trying to support.
uh,
Well, we appreciate you, and I also appreciate you hanging out with me at, CF Media's
Oh yeah,
podcast when I was there by myself, so I
oh
appreciate
dude,
you
that
for
was
that.
anytime.
so funny when somebody was like, "Oh, the dude's in the chat." And she was trying not to laugh hysterically. Like that
Yeah,
Jan said
it was
that,
that
yep.
was amazing. You guys are
French
great.
Bros or something. They both got
Yeah.
Yeah,
wrenches and they
like,
were
Yeah.
going
they
off.
were talking about being wrenches,
Yep.
and Jan was like, Colleen's trying so hard not to laugh, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, "Don't look in the chat. Don't look in the chat. This is not your show. Focus on who you're talking to." And
Yep.
Jan and Jake were just going back and forth. I'm like, "Oh my god, shut up, guys."
Yep.
But we appreciate you, so thank you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. Have
Thank
a
you
good
so
one.
much for helping
Yeah,
us.
you
You
too.
too, dude. Thank your wife
Bye.
for
You're
us.
welcome. All right.
Super cool. He's the best dude ever.
He really is.
He
He's so good. He's
uh
always there, always supporting us, and he's really, really cool. So we appreciate him.
Map Girl sent you the invite if you want to jump on.
Yeah, would love to meet you.
Molo just dropping by for the algorithm. Thank you. Appreciate you always.
Yeah.
Everybody, thank you always for hopping by.
So yes, I did go on a podcast all by
Yeah,
myself.
how was that for you? Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun. I'm just so used to being on the podcast with you that I also running our own, we
It was Jason CF Media with Emma McQuaid.
With Emma McQuaid,
and
yeah.
that was cool as all get out. She was awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool to meet her. I knew that the podcast was going to be about her. I didn't think for 2 seconds like there was
Yeah.
going to be much conversation about me or asking me questions and stuff like that, which was really refreshing because I still got to kind of be in my seat of how I am here with you. But being used to being hosts of a podcast, looking at the comments and all of this type of stuff was very interesting because I was like, not your podcast, don't take over. Made sure that I, paused and took my time and allowed Jason to have his moment because I didn't want to be like over talking. Like
No,
we
I
do
know
here.
it's a crazy balance.
Mhm,
All right, let's
mhm.
ask one of the OGs of the chat. We'll introduce her.
Well, Bernie, you're right.
All
The
right,
only
Bernie.
bad thing about when Ken is on the show is that the chat suffers. It's like when Aaron Judd is out
Out
of
of
the
the
lineup.
lineup, fair.
You're right, because Ken is
That's
always.
and I hope this new guest will talk about that. Bernie, and I hope you're on the show tomorrow too, because I really do want to find out about this. I've had a bunch of people ask me, but I hope this guest, just like Kenneth, is an OG of every chat. She has challenged me a bit. I enjoy it. She's super fun. Let's go. See my boobs. Let's do it.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Very nice to meet you.
I feel
Nice
like we have chat royalty like tonight. I appreciate it. This is almost maybe we'll do this tomorrow. We'll just have chat appreciation and then just have like I'm sending out links. It's all good.
Pulling a Sevon.
Yeah.
Who wants a link?
Who wants a link?
You get a link.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Kenneth Lapp, the one and only Seema, for sure. This is fire. I'm excited.
Seema, you're an original in Sevon's chat, right?
Yeah, I am back from the COVID days of like, I was originally in California and had nothing to do and started watching him and followed ever since.
Oh, I love that. When you started following him, were you angry with him? Did you agree with him? Or have you learned to love him since following him?
Oh, I 100% hated him. And I was like in the chat trying to prove him wrong. And I was like, you're not following the science. And then I was like, maybe I don't know everything. Like, you should maybe listen to what he has to say. And then I kind of, so my dad's Middle Eastern and Sevon's from Armenia. So I kind of like understood his position where like they just keep hitting you with facts until you're like, why would you say the same thing over and over again if you didn't believe it? Like, so then I would like look up what he said and I would start to understand his point of view. And I'm like, okay, I think I can get there. Like, I can put my ego aside for a half a second.
It's fun, right? You kind of have to say you're wrong a little bit, but at the same time, it gives you permission to say that you're wrong a little bit and that maybe I didn't think all the way through and maybe I needed to look it up a little bit more and whatever. And that's okay, right? Like that's what we're all doing. We're all just kind of being like, oh, like this is funny. Tell me, and you can speak freely on this too, but the best thing for me is the Kamala thing. They all want us because we're women to vote for her because she's a woman, but she hasn't been able to define what a woman is for like 4 years. So you want me to vote for you because you're a woman, but you haven't been able to tell me what a woman actually is for 4 years.
Well, I think definitions are important and what we say matters. I think what matters more is her history. And so she has prosecuted more Black men than any other attorney general in this history of California. And so I would look at more her resume than I would her projections. So
fair. You're a resume person. I'm all good with that. I definitely, I know that. I know she kept a lot of people in jail longer than they were supposed to. It was all marijuana, which marijuana isn't kind of even a thing anymore. like, you know what I mean? Like people aren't going to jail for marijuana the way that they were going to jail for marijuana back in the day. So I get that absolutely. But yeah, no, it's kind of cool. So I wanted to get into this with you too. How the chat is there a skill to being in the chat? The-
Take nothing personally. I mean, I literally have a picture of my boobs as the icon, and I work in wildfire and hydro analysis, and so my job is very serious. And then I come to the chat and I am there just to like fuck people up, and you can fuck me up. I think David Weeb once time said like your saggy boobs aren't like something, I don't care. And I'm like, whatever.
Wait,
But
your
it was
side view, like side boob?
my saggy boobs or something
Oh,
like that.
saggy boobs. I was
Yeah.
like, your side view boobs are amazing. I don't know what anybody has to say about that, but like David Weed, like whatever, dude. Like you're
I
right.
love to hate David Weed too. And oftentimes I agree with him. Like I'm like 100% there just to have fun and occasionally learn something, which I do. So if you're taking anything personally in the chat, and I didn't even write in the chat for the first year and a half. So
there's
I
an
know
intro level. Like there's an intro level. You have to like start to understand the podcast. You have to start to understand the chat when they write, and then you can kind of dip your toe in the water and see what's up.
yeah, I met people at the games and at Rogue who know who I am, but I've never heard of them because they're like, oh, I never write in the chat. No, of course not.
Homegrown athletics. Who cares about woman, man, black, white? Just give us somebody good. Yeah, fair. Yeah, that's all we want to. Yeah. David Weed, Kenneth Lap. David Weed played his role of asshole well. There are a couple of them though. You guys have a bunch of characters that like, you know, is it who are the ones that play in Sevon's head? Like you live rent free in my head. It's David Weed and somebody else that are just
Lang, 12 Daily Doses.
yeah.
Jeff
And
Bacow.
Jeff Bako. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Do you are you guys all friends though? Like, do you talk behind the scenes? Like, is Jeff Bako like part of your 70s crew or no?
I don't think he is. I was in the IG chat, and then like as an analyst, like I have to read everything, and if I don't read it, then I get like anxiety. So I ended up like having too much work to keep up with the chat, and then I got in a fight with someone in the chat, and I was like, "You need to go," and that was Mason Mitchell, M2.
Really?
And then,
Is he
yeah.
one of the okay, all right.
And then we had it out like personally on the phone for like an hour and a half. And I was like, okay, if you really believe that, why don't you coach me? Like, cause I was like, you're wasting too much time in the chat too. I was like, you're too good for the chat. And he was like, all right, fine. And so now he's actually my CrossFit coach. And I've made more gains with Mason Mitchell fighting with him. And we fight in text messages, we fight in video, we fight in IG. Like, he is the best coach. And he was Jessica Collegian's semifinals athlete, and now he's helping Brandon Luckett. Like he's an amazing coach that nobody's heard about.
Well, wouldn't you say that the ones, and we've talked about this because your story is very similar to Garrett's story.
Hold on, Kenneth Lap, dude, that IG chat was so overwhelming. I was in it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle it either. I can't handle the 7 a.m. morning chats that you guys do. Like y'all, I have so much respect for this chat now. Like I can't even tell you how much. Not that I didn't, but just the camaraderie that you guys have and the way that you like just roll with each other, no matter. I really do. It's really cool to watch you guys. Jody Lynn, I was in the IG chat for about a day. I couldn't handle it. Oh my, Judy Reed. Oh my God. Seema spilling the tea. Let's go. Okay.
No, I was just going to say like your beginning stories are very similar, you know, where you first start listening to him and he pisses you off and you're trying to make a point. And it's very similar to Garrett for me, I started learning about Sevon's podcast from her, obviously. And then she would share things, or I would hear parts of it. I'm like, why the fuck are you listening to this man? Like,
She would just hear,
why
like,
are
she'd
you
just be
listening?
walking past me and hear.
Or she'd be in such a pissed off mood at night. And I was like, put the phone down. You do not watch this crap because it puts you in a bad mood. But with time, he really started to challenge her, and he really started to get her to think things differently. Like you said, like comes in with the facts and just has a genuine conversation. And so now what we're realizing is that when you can get past his delivery sometimes, like you can get to the root of the message that he's trying to say, the message that he's saying is actually not a bad message. And in 95% of the time, you probably agree with him to an extent on certain things. Don't you feel like the people that piss you off the most can be the most challenging and growth that you can have as a person?
Yeah, well, I think we associate people. We can only identify with people as much as we identify with ourselves. So if I see something that pisses me off, it's likely something that I've done or have been doing that I want to correct in myself. So Sevon legit will make my dad pace around the house in the background. He won't watch, but he'll pretend to be doing things in the house, like, oh, I need to go into the kitchen, and he'll just be like listening, like this, and he's like, oh, this asshole. And I'm like, Dad, he's trying to prove a point. He's inciting passion in people to get them to feel something, because getting people to feel something is what motivates people to do something. So back to your question, like, I think that ultimately, if you are willing to say, hey, I might not be right, he may have something else to say, and I don't even have to like what he has to say. Like, I cannot stand when he lets Taylor go off on tangents about like this new penis pump that they're like about to promote. I'm like, are you serious? Can I just get a tampon that's not bleached up my vagina? Like,
yeah, please.
how about you? Can I get one female analyst on a Friday night update show? I don't care if it's that curly haired beige girl or
From back in the day.
Anybody.
Yeah,
You're like
yeah.
any female energy, please.
I am DEI for one female host. Okay. After that, and then just every week you have to prove, and if you don't meet the quota, just the next girl, the next girl, the next girl.
Yep.
And I'm okay with 1,000 interviews until they find a host that can meet. I mean, Sarah Cooper's on her way to be a good analyst just because she follows all of
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah, I wish. I do like CrossFit like that, but I don't like it like that. Like, I just want to fight with John Young on superficial shit. So
and who's the GOAT?
Yeah, I just want to do GOAT talk, like, LeBron or Michael Jordan, Rich or Matt. Like, I just want to do superficial. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think anybody can survive? Do you think any girl can survive that group chat?
Yeah, I think it would have to be a games athlete of some level.
Really?
The mental toughness to get there is probably equally the same. Did you bring up that comment? Do you want me to respond to that comment about?
Yeah, I was gonna wait till Garrett finished.
No. Now we're having fun at this point.
Seema, I get a feeling you are not a Hiller fan. Can you talk to that point?
So I'm actually a huge Hiller fan. I agree with him a lot of the time. What I don't agree with was the way he ended his relationship with Athena, and that is none of my business, and Athena doesn't want to be involved. What my point is for him is that he said it was about reaching 100,000 followers, and then what? So you reach 100,000 and then you make as much money as you need to not have clients. How many people along the way did you drag through the mud? There is a story about Luke Parker being on The Bachelorette, and he was dragged through the mud, and he has a whole story that his father told me in the hotel room at semifinals that I could never tell. And his whole point was that there was another side to Luke Parker that people don't know about, and how he fought for every single person on that show. One of his counterparts on that show committed suicide because of what happened on The Bachelorette.
Mm.
And you can look this up. And Luke Parker to this day is very, very adamant about protecting women, about not being that person that's portrayed. And I think that Hiller's platform has a potential to have that Bachelorette-esque show. So if there is a person where, and there's times where I've seen like he doesn't have all the facts, and they're loose accusations, as I call them, loose accusation Hiller. And I think for the most part, he is moving away from that, but I don't think that he has communicated his message to other people that, hey, I want to protect the athletes, the community, and HQ as much as possible. But the way he makes it portrayed is that if I want to get to 100,000 followers and that's all that matters, I'll do whatever it takes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I worked in land development for 8.5 years, and I made a shit ton of money building software and a mapping platform for developers to make basically building houses easier. And then I woke up one day and I got out of bed and I was like, what am I doing? I make a lot of money to make D.R. Horton a gazillion dollars a year in Texas to build houses. I'm smarter than that. Mm-hmm. And so I switched to dams, wildfire, and hydroanalysis. And so I made a lot less money. I made $50,000 less a year. And I eventually earned that back after proving myself. But now I do wildfire and dams analysis. So I do, hey, this fire burned in Lake Berryessa. There's a lot of sediment coming in the dam. It might hit PK's house. I gotta let PK know. So I am very attached to the area that I work in because I know the people that live in that area. Mm-hmm. Hiller used to own an affiliate. He doesn't anymore. How attached is he to the athletes in the community anymore?
You don't see that a little bit, though. You don't see that a little bit in him. I think he is.
I think he is, and that only a part of him, only some things are not there. And I think that giving up on Athena was a little bit of that giving up on the common good. I understand that he had to do it. I just don't think it was the right move. Mason has never given up on me, and I have given him one hell of a reason to.
So it's emotional for you. Like this is an emotional response. I get it. And that's cool. And that's fine.
But it's not just me he's affected. He's affected people I know I'm friends with people in some of his videos that he didn't have all the facts and they told them to me behind in confidence. I'm never going to say them out loud, but if his loose accusations are going to ruin careers for 100,000 followers, what is that for?
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
The bigger question of what's this for? You kind of answered this. I don't know if you can give any loose facts or whatever, but Jody was just curious if there was anything that you could give that obviously doesn't break confidentiality that you have between your people.
That's fine. I was going to go to Bernie Gannon. People's online personas can be extreme or not even true versions of their personalities. No way some of these people could function in real life if they were authentic. Well, then I would ask this. How do you guys feel? Like I would ask you, Seema, and I would ask Bernie. How do you feel about seeing Taylor on my show?
So it's so hard because Taylor's the only one showing up week to week and being on the court, right? So the rest of us are in the stands, talking shit in the chat, not doing what he's doing. And I have to give it to him 100%. I want to hate him and I don't. I love him. I love him for being in everybody's face. And he was at semifinals and Sevi was like, oh, tone it down a little bit. Like, you know, there's like minor things where you're like, just read the fucking comment on the screen so everybody can have context. Like,
Yeah.
my only criticism of him is give me context, because I'll be in another room and he'll be start talking about something else, and he's right like an annoying amount of times,
Mm-hmm.
and you really want to be like, I want to punch you in the face, but you're right.
It's like the Taylor effect.
Yeah,
And that's how you get to know Sevon too. Like you get to know Sevon by being like, oh,
You're so annoying.
I want to shake you, but you're right.
Yep.
Damn. Like, yeah. I
yeah,
get it.
and it's refining his skills. He's young, he's smart, he's already been through a shit ton of things that most of us will never go through in our lifetime until we're later. And he has a lot of gifts that he is sharing with the world. And kudos to him for not hiding his talents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So Bernie Gannon. Taylor on your show is so different. I think elsewhere he's playing a WWE character version. I'm not mad at it though. Like I'm good at it. Judy Reed, Team Taylor. He's a good time. And that's the thing so much that I've always wanted to show is the guys that I know behind the scenes, and I'm not, like, again, everybody's gonna ask me tomorrow too. I am not in the boys group chat. I do not. Nope. I am not any part of that whatsoever. I have no idea what goes on. I don't want to see a penis pump. I don't want to see any of it. Nothing. I don't care. I'm not a part of that, but I do have like small conversations with them each individually. And the men that I see are the men that I wish I had grown up around more. You know what I mean? Like it makes me have more trust in men. So I hope I'm getting to show that. And also though, too, like, I hope we get to have these conversations where like, hey dude, you said this. It's weird. What the fuck did you mean? Like, I don't get it.
Or give me, like you said, give me the context of
Like,
what
also,
you're trying to
I'm a female.
say.
I need you to finish all your sentences so I know what the fuck you just said. Like, that too would help a lot.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
So it's cool. I hope that you're having fun. How'd you feel did you watch Kill Taylor today?
I did. And it sounds like Colton came on, gave some little whoop ass, and then he was like, I'm changing the workouts again.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed that they didn't go through. Like, I like seeing like regular people try and attempt it, especially with Sebastian, his little boy going like, go daddy. I was like,
Yeah.
I loved that. Seeing that little kid running around.
We're gonna have Haschick was in the chat. Hey Haschick, what's up? Boom. Sorry, I missed you a while ago. My bad. My fault. Yeah, I do too. I've said this too. I'd rather somebody like some random dude like who was the guy last week that won that random swimmer guy.
The Navy SEAL.
Yeah, that won the swim event and was just like, fuck, I can swim. I'm gonna come on here and get this 3K. Like, I would rather see that than a games athlete. Like, I don't want games athletes to beat him. I want like Matthew.
Oh, I like all of it because Colton's a good shit talker, and then Yella Hosta coming on. Like,
yes, that's right. You're right.
Let's just keep going. Like, make it an hour and a half show, and then whatever you can fit in that. And maybe they did. I'm not sure. I didn't count them.
No, they did not. I love Colton because they know no one's gonna come in and beat. Like, the reason they let people go after Matthias last week is because they're just like, oh, maybe there's somebody else out there that can beat Matthias. No one's gonna come in after Colton whoops ass and be like, "Oh, I can beat Colton Mertens." No one's doing that.
Maybe they need like a Fry the Pig show. I don't know.
That would be great.
That
would be awesome. But do you think is it more fun to have the everyday people come on and hear them shit talk about the everyday person, or is it more fun to see someone like Colton come in, shit talk, and walk away with the money? Because it seems like that Taylor gets a little quiet when somebody like Colton comes on. It's like, oh shit, I'm gonna lose this money. Which one do you like better, Seema? Do you like the average, or do you like the kind of shutting Taylor up a little bit?
Kenneth, that's fair. If you analyze it though, Colton only calls into the $500 shows. Yeah, dude, you're right. You're right. That's fair. He could have given Taylor a couple of days though. Like he just lost last week. He could have given Taylor like 2-3 days to
The world, right? Like it's who takes the opportunity. And I think you need both. You need the superhero and you need the everyday to like find your place.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm sorry. Answer your question. That was just really funny because I was like, okay, what'd you say, babe? I'm sorry.
No,
I messed up.
just for her personally, as a fan of the show, is it more fun for you to listen to all the guys talk shit about the everyday athletes, or the shows like today where Colton came on start shit talking because Taylor gets a little quiet when Colton Merton comes on?
I mean, look, I talk shit with checks I can't cash. So the fact that Colton can cash those checks is a big deal. It gives credibility to the show.
Yeah.
And, you know, the time gap between Taylor's and Colton's wasn't significant. Like in a real, you know, CrossFit Games event, it would have been like, what, 1 and 4? And then you have the 1 and 200 with Sebastian, right? Like you need both.
Yeah.
Find out where the spectrum is.
Yeah. And I think the bigger, walk away or whatever is to see somebody like Colton this year, like has a voice. He shit talks a lot. And many of the analysts have said that that's probably been the coolest thing for them to see, is how a show like Kill Taylor or just Sevan's platform in itself has really helped him, come out of his shell and really, put his name out there and have the shit talk. Like you said, cast the checks behind all the shit talking that he does. Like he shows up and he does his thing. So that's been pretty cool to see.
Seema, thank you. It was really nice to get to meet you. Thank you for helping us out. As long as everybody can hear us and we can hear you, thank you. I appreciate you so much. You're always welcome back on. You're super fun. If you want to come on, let me know. Talk about anything. You're fire. You're awesome.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you.
It was very nice to meet you. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. So cool.
Oh, we got some good people.
Yeah, dude.
We got good people just helping us out. And,
hey, listen, we got 15 more minutes. So if there's another Judy Reed. Let's go. HGR, homegrown. Is that you, Carl? Let's go. So I can redeem myself since I fucked up so bad the other day. And I'm finally over whatever I had all last week. My sinuses in my chest, gross. But
a lot this year, my
dude. I know, it's crazy.
It is.
But yeah, anybody else DM me? Wait, we got a couple more minutes. I'll wait for some. Oh, is this kind of like a Kill Taylor? Just DM me, get on the show.
Right.
My bad. I didn't mean for it to be like this. I'm just trying to test.
Make sure everything sounds good.
The new equipment, but
well, real quick, the last one we haven't recapped is Seth Page.
Yes,
that we had.
That dude is. God, all you guys are amazing. The whole crew is just, that dude is so fire. There were so many things that we could have got into with.
I know. I kind of jacked the show.
No, it's fine.
In the beginning.
Look, I took my second seat like a champ. I'm okay with my second seat. It's fine. It's
Judy Reed.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
I might call someday. Okay, girl. It's fine.
But no, Seth is really cool.
Hey, if Matthew's in here, Matthew,
call me.
Yeah, do something.
No, he's really cool. And to talk to him, about his affiliates and just hear his story of how he started and what's important for him. And he really seems like that he's kind of on a media tour right now too. And
it was kind of crazy because I really didn't know. Like, I've seen him on a lot of shows over the years and whatnot. So I knew he's been in the space for a while. I didn't kind of know that Jump Ship was brand new.
Mhm.
And the fact,
No, it feels like it's been around forever.
yeah, I feel like I've seen him forever. But
Mhm.
the fact that he was like, "Hey, you were brand new, and where did you come from?" It was kind of a fun conversation like that. Like, we had a good time. It
Yeah,
was
when
cool.
he asked us if he could ask us questions, I was like, absolutely.
Matthew probably busy doing some man stuff in his yard or garage.
Yep.
True.
Yep.
Uh,
You're
Bernie
right.
again, and we never
Yep.
got to Seth's OG CrossFit stories. Yeah, I know. It was just kind of sensory overload. Like, he had so many things to talk about. That man, he wasn't wrong. That man's lived like 5 lives
Yeah.
already.
And I think what happens is that when we get on these shows, you know, you and I talk about this, like you kind of have an idea of where the show goes. I get to show up and just sit down and have a conversation. So then my questions kind of take the show, one direction, and it's not always the same direction that maybe you envision the show to have. But
it's cool. That's how you
then
figure out who people are.
Yeah. And then the guests also have their yes. We did call him Nickelback, and we saw the documentary. And if you
It
haven't
was literally
seen it,
like 2 days before he came
yeah,
on.
if you haven't seen
And then
it, it's a real-
Ortega messaged me like, "Why you got Nickelback on?" And I was like, "Oh, but I love Nickelback." and I
because
love,
we made it. That's
yeah,
why.
and
We've
I love
officially
Seth.
made
He
it.
was yeah, it was cool. It was very fun.
Yep.
I really like, he said he would come on again. I hope I get that guy on again.
They
or
all do.
again soon. So
They all do. They all say that they'll come on and
It was
talk
pretty
because
cool.
there's so many different layers of conversations that we could have. You know, same thing with Caleb. You know, whatever happened,
Yeah,
happened, and we had so
that
many more
sucked
things
too.
to talk about.
We never got to talk about that either. And it was just because that was the day that Trump got shot. So
Yep.
we never got to do that. We never got to get into.
Yeah, Bernie, exactly. But it's great. All these guests can be repeat guests to explore all kinds of issues. It was all interesting. Yeah, absolutely. And I know, Bernie, that I answered you under one of your comments, but I just wanted to thank you again. You know, you always, after each one of our shows, you come on and you support us and you give us comments and stuff like that. And also to you give us facts, you give us more information. And I just want to say thank you for that, because you take the time to send that information to us, because we are continuously trying to learn and have these conversations and understand that there will always be two sides of everything, but there are actually facts for a lot of things too. So I just want to give you a shout out and thank you again personally for just taking the time to always send us facts that you find about the different topics that we talk about.
Kenneth, Trump stole Caleb's thunder. Yes, he did. But also, amazing fucking video and photo.
Very important question.
Coach Sir Moose, why does Nickelback get so much? I don't know, bro. Like, he is literally that group.
I grew up on that group. That was my.
I have feelings when I hear those songs.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. I think people just want to hate, or they just have feelings for another group. But I can. My entire teenage life has a soundtrack to Nickelback.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
It was butt rock.
It was,
but now it's cool.
It was, it wasn't. You didn't consider it Kenneth Lap. You didn't consider it real rock
and roll.
But now it's cool. Yeah, because you broke up with your girlfriend and sang that fucking song, or you like, funny. I read it, Bernie Gannon. Funny, I read it as Caleb stealing Trump's thunder. I mean, fair. I had a great time with him. That Caleb's
is
amazing
very interesting
and so funny.
Like,
he's fucking funny and doesn't get the
living
credit.
in an RV, just chilling. Yes, Kenneth, absolutely.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, it was legitimate guilty pleasure. Everyone listened, but acted like it wasn't cool. Yeah, for sure, and it was cool. But rock is a genre. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for helping us test all the new gear. Super fun. New Roadcaster.
Enjoy hanging out with the boys tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow is the boys. They're back in town, so I'll bring up whatever crazy ass. But also, I have some surprises in store for them too. So
Oh boy.
they'll get some videos they weren't ready for either.
Oh jeez.
And also, we got Gabe from Paper Street Coffee on Monday. He was awesome enough to say yes, and we'll get to have a good conversation with him, as long as, you know, nothing else in the world goes crazy in the next 24 hours, which I'm
sure it will.
probably will. So
Sure it will. So
super fun. Thank you, Kenneth Delap. Thank you, Seema Boobs. Also, always love saying your name, because I just like saying Seema. And like Gabe the Bean King. Stop it. That's what I'm gonna call the episode. I'm gonna rename the episode.
the Bean King. See?
That's
it.
See, that's unfair because that means so many things, and the boys are coming on. See, no, I can't get into this headspace for Gabe. I can't get into the headspace for Gabe. Okay. Thank you guys.
Yeah,
I appreciate you all.
Bernie,
Yeah.
Coach,
Judy, Jody.
Matt, there she is. Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. You guys are the
Yes.
best. And we'll see you tomorrow if you're around, and we'll
Yep.
see you Monday if you're around.
All right, guys.
Awesome sauce. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Deuces.